Greetings, folks, and welcome to Command Modern Air Naval Operations. I'm Ebereg, and this is the Shamal scenario. So, basically, this takes place during the 4th day of Operation Desert Storm, and I'm to strike numerous strategic targets like air bases and weapons of mass destruction facilities, particularly chemical weapons facilities. So, Iraqi EAD, some Salmon AAA sites, Air Force seems grounded. Friendly forces, I'll figure that out. So you can either play as the Air Force or the Navy. I'm playing as the Air Force for now. And it says to destroy all targets on the list within 24 hours at minimal loss. So I'm to target the C7 chemical production facility at Al Taqadum, the hardened shelters, ammo developments, and the hardened ammo bunker. Well, not the hardened ammo bunker, since it doesn't really count. And the 6 hardened shelters at H3 and 16 ammo revetments. That's not the hardened ammo bunker. Execution at my discretion. M-Condensate C, unrestricted emissions. There are some no navigation zones. Let's do this. So this is a pretty long scenario, so let's set a timer, and also let's unpause and pause. Okay. So, the first thing we need to do is, the first thing we need to do is fix the doctrines, because a lot of units don't have some doctrines set to inherited. So, let's set those doctrines to inherited. Specifically, the refuel on rep doctrine. So let's set all of these doctrines to inherited. Let's set all of these doctrines to inherited. And so on and so forth. So, I think some of you might have noticed, I'm sure some of you might have noticed that our fighters aren't armed with anything but sparrows. That's actually not a problem in this mission, in this scenario, since Iraqi Air Force resistance is pretty much close to non-existent. Let's continue setting the doctrines to inherited. And finally, let's set all of these doctrines to inherited. So, first things first, let's set up a few missions. Set up a mission here, add new mission, call it Sky Eye. It's a support mission. And add all of the E3B sentries to it to not allow them to refuel, and set the radars to active. Let's add another mission here. Call it Ground Search Support. And let's add all the J stars here. And set the radars to active. And add another mission here. Call it Blinders. It's a support mission. And add the compass calls. Don't allow the tankers. Don't allow the tankers on this one either. And set the jammers to active. And finally, we add a mission here. Add a mission, call it Fuel Supply. It's a support mission. And add every single one of our tankers to it. Tankers on this? No. Also, let's add a mission here. Call it Fighter Sweep. It's an AAW patrol. And add all of our Eagles to it. One-third rule: do not investigate contacts outside the patrol area or within weapon range. Have one flight, engage hostile contacts, and make sure radars are indeed active. So, we are carrying Sparrows. That is going to be a bit of a problem. So, let's set the side doctrine, weapon to release authorization, and have these guys only fire one Sparrow at each target, since dodging 2 incoming Sparrows is just as easy as dodging 1 incoming Sparrow. And finally, let's set up a mission here. Call it Protect the HVTs. It's a AAW patrol. And add all of our air superiority tornadoes to it. One-third rule: do not investigate contacts outside patrol area or within weapon range, and content is radar active. And since the Sky Flash is a semi-active radar homing missile, yeah, also, let's go to Typh and launch 2 EF-111 Ravens individually, and let's go. So let's get these Ravens to turn their jammers on and move in. And let's wait for the tankers to be in position before we launch the siege strikes. Okay, we have some mobiles detected. Let's wait for the J-stars to get in position to classify them. Okay. the Raven is actually detecting a lot of stuff. Okay. This is a gainful. Okay, so now it's time to launch the siege strikes. I'm only going to need 4 hard missiles for each air defense, so let's look over the air defenses. There's a Roland 2 here, but it can't really hit a lot. Can't even hit guided bombs. So I need to take out these 2 Goas and these 2 guidelines. So that's about 4 harms each. Let's go to Shikasa and launch 4 Phantoms each individually. There's also this guideline here. I'm going to need to launch 1 Phantom for it, as well as these 2 Geckos. Gonna launch 1 Phantom for each of them, and these 1 Phantom for both of them, and these 2 Gainfuls. I'm going to use 1 Phantom for each. Now, I'm also going to go to Al Dhafra, and I noticed there are a bunch of Falcons with Mavericks. I'm going to launch each in pairs to basically just take out any targets of opportunity. And let's do this. Let's bring Wild Boar back a bit. Okay. So these guys are quite a ways away. Let's bring Wild Weasel to here, then here. Tell him to attack this Goa with all of his harms. And as I said, these guys are quite a ways away, which is why the tankers are there. So let's get this guy to refuel from the tanker. Let's get this guy to go here, then here to take out the guideline. And get him to refuel from the tanker. Let's get this guy to refuel from the tanker. And, hang on, let me see how many anti-aircraft guns there are. Okay, there's the Shoka, as well as these 2 Shokas, and this thing, I don't know what it is, but it's probably not important. There's this thing here, which actually looks pretty important. I'm probably going to need to take it out. And these 2 Shokas here, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's just focus on the Shokas for now, and worry about the rest of this stuff later. Okay, so while Leadership 4 has launched, let's bring him here, then here, get him to take out this guideline and refuel from the tanker. Let's get this Phantom here and here, and tell him to attack this Goa and refuel from the tanker. And get this guy. Anyways, let's get this guy to refuel from the tanker. So let's move on. And let's first get this guy to refuel from the tankers. And get this guy to move here to attack this guideline. And refuel from the tankers. And get this guy here and here to attack this Gainful. And refuel from the tankers. So let's get this guy to go here and attack these geckos with 2 harms each. And refuel from the tankers. And let's get this guy to refuel from the tankers and attack this Gainful. And move on forward. Oh, and let's get this guy to refuel from the tankers. Wait a second. Shit. I forgot to disallow the fighters from using the tankers. Not allowed. Assign this guy. Assign to fighter sweep. Yeah. Don't do this, kids. It's just going to create a lot of pain. And there's time. So that's it for now, folks. This is Ebereg. I'll see you next time.